few adjustments to the light. Yeah, that's nice. I think I got the light right tonight. Yeah, that looks good. Well, welcome to the show tonight. I'm going to make one more adjustment. If you guys can hold on 1 second. Okay, I think I got the noise down. Yeah, it's a lot quieter. A little noisy. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Sunday at Mike's. A Merry Christmas to everybody. Glad that you were able to make it this evening. I'm glad to make it this evening. Yeah, Christmas Day. Wow, you would think that here in this part of the world it would be snowing, but it's been raining pretty much well all day. It's been pretty miserable rain-wise. Between rain and snow, I'd rather have the snow. But surprisingly, it doesn't snow that much in Amsterdam. It used to. When I used to come here, 20 years ago, yeah, it used to snow every winter that I came, but recently not so much. But wherever you are in the world, I hope the weather is good for you. I hope that you are cozy and warm, whether you're watching this live right now or watching the rebroadcast of this later on. I appreciate you taking the time to watch. Yeah, I thought I would start out this Christmas Eve, it's Christmas Day broadcast, live stream. Eventually, one of these days, I'm going to turn this into a podcast, I'm thinking. I thought I would start off with a pretty funny story that I read. I have said before that Christmas time, aka robbing season, because people are just robbing everything that they possibly can. And it's there's never a shortage of funny stories that people do, the things that thieves do this time of year. It's just like, wow, you really have to ponder upon their intelligence. This one was not only seasonal, but also very apropos for a channel like this one. It is a story from this week. So these two women went into a guitar center in Nashville, the music capital of the world. So at least they picked the right place to steal two guitars. They stole from the Guitar Center, totaled $1,478.99. The news story was very precise in the exact dollar amount of the two guitars that they sold. So I don't know. That sounds like import guitar territory. In guitar centers, actually, to prevent this kind of thing, they hang the expensive guitars high up on the walls. The cheaper stuff is down on the floor. And I guess with the exception of in the case of basses and guitars. And so, under $1,500, even if they lost it, that's a write-off to them. And they kind of got it baked in the cake, I think, because, again, like I said, the expensive stuff, you got to call the staff to come and get down for you. Cheaper stuff is always on the floor level. Obviously, these two ladies didn't know that. So they stole these two guitars. Now, that would be, the end of the story with most. Like I said, they go to some pawn shop somewhere, some fence somewhere. They sell it to somebody on the street for, pennies on the dollar. Generally, that's how a story like this would end, but no, not in the case of this one. Get ready for this. So they went back to the same Guitar Center on the same day that they stole these two guitars and tried to sell them back to the Guitar Center and got arrested. You know, I was thinking to myself, if it was LA, because in Los Angeles, right across the street from the Guitar Center on Sunset Boulevard is a Sam Ash. And I was thinking, well, if those ladies had gone across the street to Sam Ash to sell those guitars instead of trying to take them back to Guitar Center, you know, they would have sold them all right. But in the end, it'd have been the two ladies who ended up getting robbed. Yeah, don't don't take your used gear to that place and expect a good price. Yeah, so pretty funny stuff. You know, I wondered if when they took it back to the Guitar Center, if they said, "Yeah, we'll buy it back, 50% off." They only offered them half. Oh man, that's just funny stuff. Can you imagine, you know, being that stupid where you would go back to the place that you stole from and on the same day? You know, you really got to be super cracked out of your mind to perpetrate, you know, a crime like that. And these two women, you just got to really wonder sometimes, man. But I read that story and I said, that's just perfect. I'll start off tonight with that because that's just priceless, you know. It's just, you can just riff off of that for hours. You know, it's like, wow, like, we got these guitars. Where do we sell them at? I know, let's take them to the Guitar Center. What it probably was, the truth of the matter is they have serial numbers on it. And pawn shops, they have to, you know, there's like a 10-day window, a certain amount of time most pawn shops have to do before they'll buy an item for you because they have to check it against police records to make sure it's not stolen property. Because if it is stolen property, they have to give it back to the cops and they're out whatever money they gave on the sale of it or the loan on it. So I guess, but you gotta imagine that they were in Nashville, Tennessee. Not the hardest place to sell guitars at. It's not like there's a shortage of broke musicians who are looking for a great deal on a guitar. They just really weren't trying hard enough. I mean, they weren't giving it that old college try. They were really thinking too hard on that one. That's hilarious. There's still two guitars in Nashville and just think to yourself, there's just no place I could sell this at. That's just hilarious to me. So that's a true story, guys. That really happened. So you know, Merry Christmas to those two ladies who are sitting in the jail right now. Although probably not. That's 1,500. So that's petty theft. I think I don't know what in Tennessee what the statute is on that kind of thing, but probably they will have to stand before a judge with that, and the judge will say, "What the hell were you thinking? You could have stood on any corner, anywhere downtown, and you know, hey guys, you want to deal on these guitars?" And you could have sold them. Wow, that is deep. All right, guys. Well, since it's Christmas time, I thought that I would. You know, it's funny. I didn't get anything music-wise for myself for Christmas. You know, I don't have any kids. Actually, to tell you guys the truth of it, I never had kids, so when you're an adult male, you know, and you have no children, Christmas can be really indulgent if you let it be. But or you can go the other way and you can just kind of just hold back and keep it really simple, which is what I generally do. I spoil my pets because you know there's that's family to me, as somebody pointed out to me today. And that's true. But for myself, no, and like I said, I generally buy things after Christmas. I talked about this last week, and I'll touch upon it shortly here again. Your best deals you're going to find on stuff is coming up this week, coming up, even better than the deals last week. And, a lot of retailers have, and this is not just to the guitar stuff. I'm talking about the stuff, other stuff you need, around the house. Maybe you need another flat screen. Maybe, you're like, I got this wall over here and it doesn't have a TV on it. Let's just buy one for it. Um, yeah, all those things are going to be up on sale, even more heavily discounted. I myself, interesting enough, I to treat myself for my Christmas gift to myself, I bought some clothes, outfits, or ward. I generally like to buy a whole outfit at once if I'm buying clothes. So the jacket, sweater in case it's winter time. So yeah, the pants, all that stuff. And everything at this store was marked down significantly. And this is a pretty nice clothing store. I try. I know I wear a lot of T-shirts when I'm on like this, but that's just because it's comfortable for me. I kind of keep my apartment in Africa hot. In the wintertime, it's warm in here, so that I can just chill, with this stuff like this. But when I'm out and about, yeah, I like to wear nice stuff, and they was marked down less than half price. I got a nice coat, and I thought to myself, well, spend a little bit on some clothes. Clothes in my case is a little bit more needed than a guitar pedal. But I don't know about you guys. How did you do for Christmas? Did you end up getting what you wanted? Did Santa Claus get you what you wanted? Did you get any gear? Did you guys get anything for yourselves, gear wise? Or did you just decide to wait for the sales like me? I might even, honestly, for myself, I'm not thinking about buying any guitars. I'm not even looking. Well, part of my business that I'm expanding, that I'm trying to expand into, is importing guitars, but that's a different thing. I have an agent in Japan now, and I'm thinking about doing a little bit of that as a side business, but for myself personally, I'm not even thinking about any guitars, as I've said. If I did do something, it would be coming up here in March when I go to the Vinendal Vintage Guitar Show. They have it twice a year, once in September, which we visited too, so you can watch the video here on this channel where we went to Vinendal and checked out that vintage gear show. And they'll have it again in March coming up here. And we'll visit it again. We'll take a second look at that, maybe from a different viewpoint than last time. I'll try to think of a more creative angle to present that to you guys. But yeah, I'll look and see what's down there. But no, in pedals, like I said, pedals I'm kind of done with. I'm really happy with where I'm at pedal wise. So I just even with the sales coming up, I don't know. I can't see myself doing anything right now. I always get tight around this time of year. And, things that I read in the newspaper, encourages me to be super tight. But, yeah, I generally think that your best bet is this time of year though, after Christmas, to get gear. A lot of these retailers are overstocked and they want to move stuff. Um, so yeah, and speaking of that, a lot of people are starting to get concerned with the sales tax issue that is coming up here. Mostly, this it really has to do with those who do business in the states on platforms like Reverb and other things as well. Actually, um, I have an account with CD Baby, and CD Baby is a kind of aggregator site where you could send them your music and they will monitor where it's played, how many times it's played, and make sure that you're getting paid what it is that you're supposed to be getting paid. For that, of course, they take their cut. But even they were putting out notices that saying that there's a $600 if you do more than $600 worth of business, you have to fill out this form, which is not a new thing by any means. That rule has been around for years, but now the onus has been put on the companies to make sure that this is being done, as opposed to the individuals who, in most cases, were not. And a lot of people are starting to freak out about that. That coupled with the fact the sales tax on a site like Reverb is really starting to bite as well. I saw a few discussions on some of the boards that I read where guys were saying, I was going to buy my son this $800 guitar for Christmas, but it ended up being $50 in sales tax and $50 in shipping, and that just blew my budget for what I wanted to spend on this. And it was a used guitar too, and so he was kind of griping about that. And a lot of the sellers are, of course, backing off because of these things as well. And I just find it interesting that the online, well, and again, also another thing that I will add to that is that in the United States, it depends upon which state that you come from, whether or not you'll be paying that tax. If you live in California or some other states, there may be a waiving of that tax if you're buying things online. It really is state by state. Of course, if you live outside the United States, if you're in the Eurozone, or Canada actually has the same rules as the states, so it actually is the same thing and going for you in Canada. But a lot of guys are freaking out about this, but I haven't spoken on it before, so I thought I would touch upon it tonight. Um, as you know, I was trying to find a topic every week to talk about and to get a little bit more into. And the sales tax thing, really, it shouldn't, you know, well, first, the $600 amount of sales that you do, even if you have a garage sale, technically, even if you sell something to your neighbor, there is a tax that technically is involved in that. And so, of course, a lot of people, we just kind of waive that and we move on with it because it's such a small amount. And with Reverb, prior to this, the amount was 20,000 before, if there was 20,000. Because the truth of the matter is, if you're doing $20,000 worth of sale on Reverb, unless you're a guy who buys and sells, really high-end Gibsons, so say you sold two custom shops, $10,000 custom, something like that, that would hit the peak of 20,000, which then you'd have to report. You did have to be reporting on that. They've lowered that threshold to 600, and again, this has caused a lot of gnashing of teeth and hair pulling. And then, of course, the sales tax issue. So these things coupled together are having an impact on that online sales industry. And I actually think that that's a good thing. Generally, when the government does things like this, the effect that it has is never the effect that it really was intended to come out. But I think one of the results of this is that you're going to see a lot of people falling off on selling on eBay and Reverb. I just think that it's just something that they, for either one of these reasons, either they balk at having to port the 600, or they balk at the high fees, coupled with the fact that the shipping fees these days are just off the chart. I told you I wanted to send a speaker from the States to here, and they were going to charge $400, and that wasn't even getting into the 20% that I'd have to pay on that. So, and the speaker was worth about 200, so no. So shipping fees and things like that, there's a lot of people balking. Even here in the EU zone, if I buy something from the UK, which is literally a stone, it's a ferry ride away from here. The cost of bringing that in the VAT is again very high, and so it really precludes you from wanting to do too much business outside, buying things. And so that's what kind of keeps me from wanting to purchase. And that goes for everything. Computers, if I wanted to buy a replacement part for my Mac and I had to order from the States, by the time I got it and the VAT that was put on it, yeah, it's killing you. It's really something. And it's got to the point where people used to, I just don't do the online thing from anything outside of the EU zone these days. And it's funny because, when I lived in Singapore, it was the complete opposite. I bought everything online and had everything shipped in from all over the world, from the States, from Japan, from here, just all over. And, I didn't know how lucky I had it. But yeah, the VATs here can be. So a lot of this stuff is really stopping a lot of people from wanting to do business. And I think it's a good thing, do business with these online platforms. And I think it's a good thing because I do think when it gets on a one-to-one basis, when you're back to, you know, dealing things on a private basis, I think that first that brings the prices down to earth levels, because the prices online, yes, there's a lot of inflation going on out there in every market, and that's just how it is right now, and it'll get worse. Trust me. But some of the prices on some of the stuff is just outrageous. I was on an online discussion talking about Epiphone Les Paul Customs. Do you know that here in the EU zone that you cannot get a used or new, or forget new, but used Epiphone Les Paul Custom for anything less than $850? And again, if I saw one in the UK that was for less, by the time I got it, I might as well pay the price here because it's going to be the same, or States or anywhere else. So the price on those guitars has really, really, really gone up. I was shocked. The 2022 models, if you bought one of those, I think when they first came out, as I recall, they were going for $699. Now those things are $850 on the used ones, and that's regardless of how old it. I'm talking about 2002 models all the way up to 2020, so 20-year span. You're talking about $850 minimum US dollars for one of those. And yeah, so that with but some of the prices and a lot of this stuff is just going to drive a lot of cats away from it. It's going to just make people say, you know what, I'm going to throw up my hands, and I'm not interested in playing this game and doing this because this is just getting to be ridiculous. Yeah, there's always the scalpers, like that Adam Jones model, Epiphone model came out, Les Paul model custom. Guys are trying to scalp that $1,700 to $2,000. Nobody's buying. Nobody's buying. So there'll always be scalpers trying to do stuff like that on something that's the hot thing of the moment. But just the regular buyers, because you look at that 850 for that. If I buy that online, then I'm gonna have to pay a tax, sales tax on it. And sometimes tax is included, sometimes shipping is included. It really depends upon the item. That's why, I won't buy any more guitars online. I've said that, but small gear and stuff like that, I'll still do pedals. I'll still give those a shot. But it's just being more proactive on my part to take an attitude of, well, this is just not financially something that's smart. It's better for you to go out and look for a shop, local shops to do business, and that's what I've been doing. And I think that's one of the good results of some of the shenanigans that are going on in the gear space, online gear space. There's private dealers that you can do, like a lot of the forums that I have. I've mentioned that before. The gear page, they have a sales page where members can sell stuff. That's a good option too, because that's become the online version of Craigslist. I'm old enough and been around enough where back in the early 2000s, I used to look on Craigslist for gear, especially the Craigslist online. I used to look for gear, and that was not just then. Also, I don't know how long I did it, but I did it for quite a while. Even when I was in Singapore, I'm not sure, but I used to do that, and there was in Singapore, no, because in Singapore there's something called Gumtree, which was their equivalent. I actually sold a few guitars on Gumtree, which is a local kind of thing. So yeah, if it drives people doing more local deals, more person to person deals, or reaching out on some of the more alternative ways of selling things, I think that would be better for the prices. I think that would be better for a lot of things because, right now, you couple a lot of that stuff together, it really makes it just unattractive to buy something online. I really have no interest. So, yeah, there's that. I have been thinking a lot about ways to give back to the channel. And it's been a while since I have done something like a giveaway. So I want to do a giveaway this week. Kind of maybe try to aim it more towards closer to New Year's, but I want to do well, this week is New Year's week basically. I want to do a giveaway and on this channel. So I haven't decided what yet. It's more than likely going to be a pedal, something nice. I'll pick something really nice because you guys have given so much to me, and I'd like to give things back. And every time that I do, the last two giveaways that I've done really worked out well. The winners of it were really happy and just really appreciative too, like stoked, and to get that kind of feedback and to know that I've given something back in that regard, because you guys give me a lot. I have to tell you, so many rewarding and rich things can be had by having a YouTube channel. Again, like I said, if you put the monetary issue aside, if you say, hey, you know what, I'm going to do this for the love of it, and if the money comes from it, I'm going to give it my best. I'm going to try my best. If the money comes in, great. If not, I'm going to do it for the love. And you want to give something back too. as well. So you got that kind of spirit where you're combining those kind of thoughts. Yeah, you come to the conclusion that you need to do something every now and then. And so I would like to do a giveaway this week. So I don't know what it's going to be. It's going to be a pedal, a good one. But I thought I would bring that up right now. Uh, yeah, I've got a few I could give away that are nice. But again, I'm so set on this pedal board. Once I get something locked in, I generally don't like to change it or move it around because then I get dependent upon it and what it does and what everything works together. So I've really locked in my pedal board. So a lot of the pedals that I bought in the course of trying out different things like the reverbs, the overdrive, and some of the other things that ended up not making the cut. Um, Certainly, one of those pedals would be probably a good thing to give away. So I'll take a look into that. So you have that coming up. There will be a giveaway coming up this week. I didn't do a regular show this week because, frankly, I usually shoot on Saturdays and edit and put it out, edit on Sundays and put it out after the live show. After this, I would generally do an edit and then put it out tomorrow. But I didn't want to do that this week. Um, but because quite frankly, it was Christmas and I really wanted to just relax and just really not think about anything. Let the pressures of life fade a bit and just enjoy the holiday. And but I think the giveaway thing is a good answer to that. So I'll shoot something around that. So I don't know that won't come out tomorrow. That won't be out on Monday, but that will be coming out here. So yeah, we will be giving away a pedal. Yeah, we'll make it a pedal this week. That will be coming up. What else to talk to you guys about? Hope you guys are doing well out there. I'm glad to see everybody's here. Thank you so much for showing up. I'm glad all you guys are here. Thanks for taking the time to watch. I hope, hey, just picked up another person. Welcome, welcome. I want to thank you guys so much for taking your holiday time to watch or listen in. I sure wish I had something interesting to say holiday wise to you, but again, like I said, I keep it pretty basic here. No, no heavy thoughts. Like I said, we covered my thoughts about what's going on going forward in the reverb space. But in other things, guys, when you have a YouTube channel, one of the things that you have to do is you learn first. You have to write a script. You learn about you're basically producing a show. Now it's really up to you how you want to do it, how you want to frame it. The guys who are always shooting it, and you can see like the bed and like the dresser with like the baby, the Pampers on the dresser. I always look at that and I think to myself, dude, couldn't you frame that a little bit better? But if you're trying to do this and you're trying to frame things nicely and present something interesting, a lot of people start out and they begin to they get into the YouTube trap, especially when you got a guitar channel or instrument channel. I don't know how it is if you have a violin channel. Well, we'll say guitar channel. You find out real quick that you better have a budget where you're bringing stuff in all the time if you're going to have that kind of review thing where you're constantly reviewing things, or an existing studio that's full of stuff that you can pull out and talk about, at least try to keep there. Or you start to get into the YouTube trap where you realize that it costs money to put together content, because you're always putting, and you're not going to get paid at first. You don't get paid on YouTube to your first 1,000 subscribers, And regardless if you had a million view video before that, you don't get paid on that. You only get paid for the views after that. So yeah, it's a tough racket. And so, I kind of took a different approach to this. I'm a little eclectic on my content because I only review things when I have something that I get something that I bought that I paid for. I don't have anybody sending me things. I have had two occasions this year where I've been offered for people to send me things but the brief is a document that describes what it is they want you to do in exchange for promoting their product on your show. And the briefs on these companies were like, shoot it like this. It's got to spend no minimum of this amount of time on it, just on and on the brief that they gave me. And I was like, forget about it. And so, unless, if you agree to that kind of thing, then yeah, that's one way of getting it. But then again, your audience starts to kind of look at you like, dude, is this somebody that they're getting this stuff for free and they're saying all these positive things all the time? Is it somebody that I really can get anything from of substance? So yeah, I'm always thinking about substance. I want to present things of substance, but I do try to keep it interesting. So you get caught in that YouTube trap, and I got into it a little bit at first. I was a little bit lucky because I was one of those guys who had stuff to show off already. When I started off this channel, and I do believe it was no, it was closer to October. It was closer to Halloween when I first started. Um, Coming up on over 3 years ago now. But I had a lot of stuff at that time. I had four Les Pauls, and and quite a few Fenders. So I had a lot of stuff to talk about to show off. So I got lucky in that regard. A lot of people who try to start off, they get into difficulties because they get into that trap. Well, what am I going to talk? I got to review something, and the bank account is not. And then they try to do a Trogley and flip guitars, but even in the beginning, Trogley started out real slow. He was doing one guitar at a time, and it took him 7-8 years to build up to where he is now. So, but it was just a matter of hanging in there, and that's kind of what this is about. And so again, like I said, if you're not making a lot of money off of it, and you're constantly struggling to come up with things to discuss, and it can be a little discouraging. So when you look up when you're doing a live stream like I did, and you see 7 or 8 people watching live, that's when it becomes worth it, because you're like, wow, this is great. I'm actually having a conversation with people right now live. They're watching and listening and taking in what I'm saying, and so therefore, yeah, I'm very thankful for that. So I say all of that in a long-winded way to just talk about being thankful for you guys this year. I want to finish out tonight. We're talking about being thankful. I am thankful for the commitment that you guys make to taking the time to watch and listen to me, this old guy, ramble on. I've been a professional musician since I was 16 years old. And I'm 55 now. And I have had an extraordinary career doing a lot of interesting things. And I've always been thankful for that. But all of that career and all those things led me to this point where I'm sitting here talking to you guys. And that's awesome. And I really appreciate, again, like I said, and I want to tell you about, the things that that happened to me, then and the things that I've learned, and the things that the observations that I've made. I'm old enough where a lot of that, stuff about tone wood and which gauge strings and all that stuff. I'm old enough to have seen the cycle of that stuff, and so I can make observations, you know, based on experience. So that's the kind of things that I want to bring to you guys for taking the time to listen to me. I want to bring you some quality stuff, primarily, really, guys, to save you some money. I've decided that one of the big things about this channel is to try to help people save money. Don't to talk you again out of buying stuff that you probably don't need, uh, buying some stuff myself and talking about it and saying, hey, you know what, maybe you don't, maybe this is good, or maybe you should have this, or maybe you should look into this but avoid this, or this is not necessary, or just those just a lot of stuff that comes to mind when I'm going through observations for myself. I apply these things to myself. So I share those thoughts with you, my innermost private thoughts. I put them out there for you guys to take in. And I'm thankful for you guys taking the time to listen in and watch. It really means a lot to me. Um, I am thankful for the few things that I was able to do this year. I went through quite a few guitars this year. I'm thankful that I was able to make a donation to the Ukrainian Music Academy here in Amsterdam with that Mad Cat copy. I'm glad that I was in a position where I was able to donate that guitar to them, and that they were so happy, because instrument and Fern made it really nice. By Luthier just made it perfect so that whoever plays that, whatever kid there that shows up, has a great guitar to play. Um, and so I'm thankful for that. Uh, you know, I'm thankful to have a Telecaster again. I really am a Telecaster guy. That's really weird because my uncle Carlton, the guitar player for Fats Domino, as a matter of fact, we'll be interviewing him here shortly. My uncle Carlton, Mick Williams, you can look him up, Hall of Fame, Blues Hall of Famer. He is a Telecaster guy. He likes to play. I guess it just runs in the family. It just like to, and neither one of us will play Strats. I've never owned a Strat. Well, did I? Maybe one I had back when I was a teenager for a hot second, but it just didn't work for me. I've never Strats. I've never. I won't buy a Strat either. It's funny, That's where I draw the line at Strats. But Telecasters, yeah, all day long. I always thought that the Telecaster was a perfect desert island guitar, and I think it is. But you know what? This 335 that I just got, that I'm also very thankful for, I'm starting to think that people are right. There's kind of a debate out there what is the perfect desert island guitar, whether it's a 335 or a Telecaster. Um, and now that I've spent some time with the 335, I'm starting to think that, yeah, the 335 would be the perfect desert island guitar. Literally, because you don't need an amp or electricity to play it, because it's semi-acoustic, and it's just an awesome and and if you did have a desert island but you had electricity, then yeah, you could rip with that thing. So yeah, I'm starting to change my mind on that, on what my desert island guitar would be. Even though I like Telecasters, I would not object to having a 335. And I'm thankful to have that as well. I'm very thankful to be able to have gotten that guitar. I just took it out of its case. I said it's Christmas. I'll take it out of its case. I'll take it out of its case. And so I took it out, and I strummed it a little bit, and I haven't done any kind of setup on it yet because, again, like I said, because it's a case queen, and I don't really plan on using it for anything really. I haven't gotten into that yet. But it is a thing that I'm thankful for. And so I was just reflecting on that I would end tonight's show talking about that, just talking about all the things that I'm glad for that came about this year. Uh, I went through a lot of guitars this year. The one that stands out in my mind, though, that for some reason I'm disappointed about, that I'm sorry it didn't work out, was the Epiphone SG, yeah, the black SG, the inspired by Gibson one. Uh, I kind of like that one. I bonded with that one, but the paint started to literally at the bottom. I should have took pictures. It started, it had some issues too with the fret. It had the worst fret job ever on it, and I just, I couldn't see myself putting the money into doing the work to make it right. It just wasn't worth it to me. So that was a little bit of a disappointment of the guitars that we've gone through this year. Uh, my Epiphone 59 is still standing strong. A lot of you guys joined this channel, came to this channel because of the reviews that I was doing early when that guitar first came out. I'm a little irked. Have I said this to you guys? Have I talked about this? I don't know if I've mentioned this. I am a little slightly peeved that the Epiphone 1959 kit, which is as they call it, there's nowhere where you can find it in writing, but by calling it a limited edition and putting a limited edition metal decal on the back of it, would sort of kind of imply that you wouldn't make a crapload of them like they did. The first version, because again, as I've said before, this is not the first time that they've come out with this model. The first time they came out with this model was in 2010. They did 1959 model, they called it. It had Gibson pickups in it, and not as nice as this one, but the best that they could do at that time. And they limited that to 1959. And those very, very rarely come up for sale. You don't see those come up a lot. When you do, if you're interested in a good Epiphone, that's the way to go. But they command pretty stiff prices, so even that, it's not really a bargain. But these, they came out with and kind of implied they didn't say it like they did with the 2010 model, but they sort of implied that it was a limited edition. But as we know, my gosh, they have come out with multiple colors of that, even with the Lazarus. So I think they kind of cut, Joe Bonamassa's legs out from underneath him a little bit, because they released it in the Lazarus color. The Lazarus color was supposed to be unique to the Lazarus, and and something that was unique to that signature guitar. But they started putting out the Lazarus color. You could get it at Alderton's in the UK, and then they started putting it out at Sweetwater in the United States. And then 20 other colors, and you can still buy those to this day, 2 years later, coming up. No, I got mine 2020, 2023. Yeah, 2 years later, they're still producing those guitars. So yeah, they peeved me a little bit with that. I have to be honest with you. It's not as a limited as edition of it. Now, it is a nice guitar, and I know what they did. As I've been saying for a while now, it was Gibson's plan to start filling in that higher end, lower higher end. I'm sorry, because the middle higher end would be Gibson USA, lower higher end guitar market. And so they said, hey, this did so well, and it sold like hotcakes. This would be a good way of kicking in that new order. And like I said, since then, That's when you've seen the prices of the Epiphones just go up and up and up. Yeah, a lot of the features and quality has gone up corresponding to that, but they kind of use this guitar as a kicking off, and so I still like it. You know, it's still a screamer guitar, and it fills my need for a Les Paul. I don't see the need to have another. I'll be honest with you. I will say this much. If I was planning on keeping the 335, if I was really thinking it was something I was going to hold on to permanently, um, I would probably see no need to have the Les Paul because that 335 can fill in that sonic hole as well as some other things that it can do that the Les Paul can't. But since I don't have a 335 that I'm planning on keeping, like I said, this one, when I have a Case Queen, it really is a guitar that I don't take out. All of my Les Pauls that I bought, the investment guitars, they stayed in their cases until the day that I sold them, pretty much. I very rarely brought them out unless I was doing recording with them. But yeah, this one it falls into that category. It's something that I'm planning on trading, with probably going to take it with me to Vinendal to the vintage, and see where I can go for them. But I'm kind of in the market. Hey, Merry Christmas, Jesse. Merry Christmas. Yeah, I'm digging 335s now. It's really crazy. I'm really digging it. I'm liking it. But there's still no way in God's green heaven that I'm going to spend 3,500 on a Gibson 335. Especially, like I said, when this 335 right here, this Joe Bonamassa, is a better construction. At the end of the day, it's a better construction. And it's cheaper. Um, but I'm not holding on to it, so that then puts in the dilemma. Now, there's a lot of other manufacturers out there like Larry Carlton H7, Epiphone inspired by 335s. Those are actually not bad guitars. Those are actually, there's a guy on YouTube who had the Gibson 335, and he had the inspired by in the same color by Epiphone, and he put them side by side. He went through them side by side sonically, and he said the same conclusion that I made when I had my Les Paul 60s and I had my Epiphone 59, that I could not justify owning that Gibson when the Epiphone honestly did the job. And so that 59, like I said, that's the reason why it sticks around, because quite frankly, it fills the sonic hole there. But if I did end up getting a 335, yeah, yeah. I don't know how long I would hold on to that 59. To be honest with you guys, I don't get attached to the guitars. And I need to have a Telecaster around. I have learned that about myself. I do have to have a Telecaster around because that is my working. I've always said it's a working man guitar. I'm a working man's musician. And a Telecaster is really something that I have to have around. Other than that, it's a coin toss. So a 335, that would be great because but again, like I said, I don't know what I'm going to do. Well, yeah. Merry Christmas to you all. I am going to keep it short here. I want to keep it 54 minutes. I want to keep this underneath an hour because, quite frankly, my Christmas is not done. I've got a chocolate cake in there that I bought from the patisserie here in Amsterdam that makes cakes and cookies and stuff like that for the royal family. This is like top notch chocolate cake, and I forgot about it. That I had it in my fridge until right before I started filming this, and I said, well, as a present to yourself, after you finish your YouTube live stream, you can have a slice of that chocolate. It's a little late, but you know what? It's Christmas, at least for another few minutes. So I'm going to indulge myself. And it really is a nice cake. It's layered chocolate cake. The chocolate in between is a chocolate mousse and then raspberry jam. And it's covered not in icing, but in like a chocolate ganache. It looks like a little, uh, like candy that you would find, chocolate candy that you find at Leonidas or something like that. Just a beautiful looking cake. I didn't even want to cut into it. I don't like buying fancy cakes too much because I don't like cutting into them. I don't want to ruin it because this thing looks pretty. It's just a gorgeous looking thing. But I'm afraid its head must come off. So you guys enjoy the rest of your Christmas holiday wherever you are. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to spend some time with me this evening. Again, whether you're watching this in the live stream right now with me, and I want to thank you guys for showing up tonight and watching live. Or if you're watching this in the rerun, I want to thank you for taking the time for that. Again, like I said, this one express my thankfulness. We have a giveaway coming up this week, so look out for that. If you haven't, great show. Thanks, Mike. Hey, Ben. Hey, Ben, I didn't know you were there, man. Thank you so much. If you guys haven't subscribed and you're just tuning in for the first time, hit that subscription. As everybody has done tonight, I see they have hit the like button, so I appreciate that very much. That helps a lot with the YouTube algorithms. Just a Merry Christmas to you guys, each and every one of you. I'm gonna go have some cake. I don't know about you. You guys take care. Bye bye.